Good evening time, everybody. What's going on? Yeah, everybody hears you too. Alrighty. Well, it's been kind of a long day, guys. In and out of the shop. Had to make a couple trips to town today. Get a few things for next week and all that good rigmarole. Go in and order a new refrigerator. And deal with my poor screaming cat here. She's just so pitiful. Just trying to get a few more things here turned on where I went and got me a little bit of lunch for the evening. Look at my radio here and see what's kind of going on in the world of Neverland, if you will. What's going on? Working. Anyhow, I'm working on the 600 amp power supply. I'm hopefully try to get finished up this evening, or I'm incredibly close, anyways. I'm very, very busy out here in the shop and just haven't had time to really work on everything that I've needed to. See that more. It was close to kicking on. Some days it's a little harder than others as far as to figure out just how much to setting views on that. Not been super hot, but it's been mainly humid here today. Well, good evening time, Mr. Three Maid. What's on, big guy? Haven't heard or seen much from you here lately. I mean, I have as far as notifications, but I think you've been staying pretty busy too here lately. I think even the cat's saying hi. She's out here this evening with me. Aren't you? So what have you been into early? You never call, you never write anymore. No, I don't mind stripping the wires. The biggest part I don't like is I've got so much stuff that sits in the way down here on the floor. I know there's a lot of that that doesn't get cleaned up near as much underneath as it should. You'll be there as long as you can do work. Well, that's good that you got the same number. You know, mine's been the same for probably 10 years. But you never call and you never write. My address has been the same since 1991. What? What? Huh? This is what you wanted, so now you're out here. And this is a tedious part. Tedious. I've been trying to get back on this, but some things I'll do the small stuff, which where I've been in and out so much here the last 2 weeks. Actually, I don't get on this. I actually had it done yesterday. That just didn't happen. It's okay. I went ahead and shot some videos of some stuff from over a month ago that I've had sitting here. Back on the cat's tail. I do appreciate everybody that's tuned in this evening. So I know it's kind of late for doing this stuff, but I'm more of a night owl anyways. I usually try to stay mostly on the same schedule that I work, so it's probably good for some of you that are night owls. And for those of you that are wondering what I am doing, I am drilling holes in my connectors to go to my circuit breaker. What it amounts to is once I get these all on there and I get them crimped, I'll actually go back and solder them. Well, I don't really see the necessary or see that it's necessary to drill two holes. The only reason why I say that is there's already a hole in there. See, mine have two holes. Actually, mine have three. See, the one for the bolt, one for the solder, and the one for it to come out of, as well as for the wire to sit in. Howdy, howdy, Bill. It's been a while. Crazy how you wind up with more wire technically than what you actually use, of course, for the amperage wise. Once you go per module, there's really not that many amps on each one of these. I mean, technically, especially since we're on 220, technically we can actually go down as small as 18 gauge for each module that's in there. Each wire represents one module. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I guess you've stayed busy throughout this whole Corona thing. I know that you drive a truck, or last time I talked to you anyways, you drove a truck for a living. Not hydraulically crimped, nevertheless. Get the crimp on there. Once those get soldered, we'll never have to worry about it. Good evening, Sid. Glad to see that you popped in. If I remember right, I think you're also on my Facebook channel. If I remember right, aren't you down in Australia, I believe? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Oh, Canada. Okay. I had to look around because my voltmeter for my big power supply underneath my bench happens to sit right there at the end of the comments. All right. Give me just a second. I have a baby that needs to go back in. So give me just a second, guys. Let me put her in the house and we'll be right back. Take a second. The wonderful thing about being that close to the house is I can kind of go through the shop as I choose. Oh, Lord, early. Well, Sid, you'll definitely have to keep in tune and pop in from time to time, especially here. The reason why I say that, typically, as long as I don't get too overwhelmed this year with all the hours that I work between the shop and my regular job, um, if you're not familiar, if you're not super familiar with me and some of the things that I do, on occasions, I shouldn't say on occasions, but I have for the last 3 years, and I'm hopefully going to continue doing that. Um, I am actually looking this year to do another giveaway. It will probably be another amplifier. Last year was one of the biggest giveaways that I've done. It's about $500 worth. So, don't know what we're going to do this year. Last year was kind of hard to top because it was a 2x4 mobile amplifier that we gave away for Christmas. So I'm not sure what we're going to do this year. Trying to get a few people involved as far as that wanted to donate. Because it's hard for me to give something away, a couple, 2 or 3 times a year. Part of it had to do with time to build it, and part of it had to do with time to gather up all the pieces and parts. But one particular year, we actually did a giveaway where I had a couple different customers actually donate new parts for builds. And whenever I get people that do that, they go into a box, and once that box has got 50 to 75% of what's needed to make a build, I oftentimes go ahead and do that and do a giveaway. So you might want to keep that in mind. Oh, good Lord. Let me see if we can screen just a little bit easier on me. I've got to find a different place. There we go. I've got to move that voltmeter that I've got up here. Of course, it makes life a lot easier than trying to look underneath the workbench whenever I'm seeing what the voltage drop is on different things, which most of what I build, most people, typically there's not much of a voltage drop on a 600 amp power supply. The biggest thing that everybody orders really is 2 pill, 4 pill, 8 pill from time to time. I've got one that is going to be coming up sometime next month. I've got got one radio left, and I think a 1x4 before I get to the big project I've got. But I actually had a gentleman drive all the way down here and drop off a couple of amplifiers, but the big one that we're going to be working on here, hopefully by the end of this next month, is a 48 pill mobile amplifier. 48 pill. So we also brought this power supply, which that's a very minor thing. I think he had it hardwired in because whenever he was moving, he just cut the cord. So he also made to go ahead and install the power cord into the power supply. So we'll get that done as well. Where he was trying to get his base. Well, good evening, Mr. Nobody. How you doing, Kevin? And Mr. Squirrel, I see you popped in. Repositioning here. By the way, earlier I added a new tool to my collection. It's that M12 Milwaukee. I'm not going to say it's a lot lighter than the other one that's got the nice big bulky battery. For some of the small stuff that we do here in the shop, this is actually great. Sid, since this is your first time in here, what we're working on is a 600 amp power supply, obviously, since that's what it's entitled. I've been doing this in stage, as most of everybody knows. We work a lot of hours at my other job, so turn this around here and give you a quick peek on the inside. So, just a little peek here for you, Sid. Good evening, Warren. We've got another new tool coming. You've been coming up in the world here early. You have definitely been coming up in the world. Well, thank you, Sid. Building welders, no. No, you could probably weld with it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So this one's a 600 amp. Like I said, I've got 1,000 in for repair, which that's a minor, just using a cord. They literally cut it off, so it's only that long. So I'm going to put about a 10-foot cord on it whenever I get to that point. But yeah, like I said, we got most of this done. We've still got some preliminary that has to be wired up yet for the meter and shunt. I've already got all the holes done except for the fan holes, which I'm not too worried about that. I can do that throughout the week and finish that up. No, you need to go back and look. That's not 900. That's about 500. No, but I can tell you that it is possible to get 900 out of one. And that is not running at 18 volts either. Sadly, by this fall, with some of the stuff that I've got going on, I'm probably going to have to, yeah, that was the pressure that was being fully saturated on the truck page. So I figured since Brian put his out, I've actually built mine about 2 months ago. I've actually been playing around with those for about 4 months as far as here and there. That's the first video that I went ahead and did for one. Obviously, it's in a small cabinet, but yes, they are on 220. But like I said, I put that in that small cabinet. I've had that cabinet for a couple of years now. Got damaged in shipping and got kind of smoothed out. It doesn't look bad, so it's just got one little dent into the side of it. But I figured I'd use that actually here in the shop for a small driver. It's nice and compact. It doesn't take up a bunch of room on the bench. So I think it's going to be great for that particular type of project. That's something that I've actually not had a lot of people ask me for yet. So I've got to actually go back. I'll probably do that this week or over the next 2 weeks and try to get some prices actually figured up on the 4-pill, depending on whether or not you want a small cabinet or standard, what I call a standard cabinet, which we usually build with 5 pills. I actually ran mine at 14 volts even, is what I ran mine at. So you're going to see, with what I call a common radio, you're looking at, to me a common radio is going to do about 40 watts peak and 8 to 10 RMS. As far as what I call a common, kind of common radio. Once you hit, once you are at that point, basically the rest of it, yeah, you can drive it a little bit harder. But at that point, for the most part, that's the general consensus that most people are going to use those for. You watched mine 3 times. Sometimes I forget to actually tell people the voltage, where I've been doing this for so long, I don't even think about it. But eventually, once I get caught back up, God only knows when, one of the things that I would like to actually do is change some stuff around on the workbench and possibly go ahead and either bring down or wire up some kind of a voltmeter. You'll see what I'm running the radios at easily. I need to actually get a different stand for my camera. Like everybody else, I've still got growing pains. I've done this for a long time, but I've never done videos up until the last few years. I've been in the radio communications for about 27 years. Been doing my own thing here in the shop about 20 of those years. So, 21 of the years has been on my own, either here in this shop or the other business that I own that was a couple towns over. So I have found that overall I can actually do just as much right here, right here from the comfort of my own home and my own little shop. Speed the process of a lot. Sometimes early I do. Sometimes I do, buddy. I haven't lost too much heat. Just been trying to use up some of the scrap that's laying here on the workbench. This is what they were sorry, so take as much. don't know if you remember this or not, early, but I'm still using that one soldering station you sent me. Works out real well. So I use that for my Big Bertha. Lights here out of my way. Yeah, in some cases that does work. I've just used that just to hold them out of my way. It also involved me having to get up out of my chair. Don't know about you, but I feel plumb lazy today. Of course, I know part of it's not helping the fact that my air conditioner is blowing right directly on me. It's helping as far as me staying comfy, but it's a message. Okay, so on to the next one. No, I'm not sending this one to Cat. I know he don't. I know he don't like building power supplies. I don't mind it. I actually enjoy these. Just wish I had more time in the shop, but I work for a Japanese company, so I work 72 hours on my long week, American week that is, and 96 on my, there was 72 on my short week, 96 on my long week. Plus, I put in an average of 30 to 35 hours on my short week here in the shop, and anywhere from 15 to 25 on my long week. So, a lot of hours that I put in, guys. Lots of hours. Ooh. Got a little more. Get more khaki shorts out here. Yeah. Like I said, well, we all sent me a message. There we go. But like that, get out of the way. Still got some other big ones to do on the other side, but we'll get to that here in just a minute. I want to get the AC taken care of on this portion of it. But next, the last thing we're going to do is actually the AC power cord. I've already got the back all stamped out, which done some differences on that, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that here a little bit as far as from some of what I've done in the past. Yeah, you've probably dropped plenty of solder on you too. Normally I wear pants, but it's been so hot here the last few weeks that that's not going to happen. Straight 8 ES video. Which one's that, Warren? Let's see. I've actually got a customer that's asking me how he can type in. I'm trying to think here. how he can actually comment as far as on the live videos. So, you should be able to do it over on the one side of the screen. There should be a place below to enter in your comments. Let's see. I hear you, Early. I hear you, buddy. Get shrink. It says live chat. Oh, okay. Crazy. I'll work on one. Maybe this is going to be tight anyways. I only worked out once. Some of these in insulation just wants to be a pain. Need to get an in-between size, which would make life easier on me. I just can't seem to put that on my cooler. Figure out which size it is and add it to my order list. right, Sid, you have a great day, buddy. Definitely have a wonderful evening. Glad you popped in there for a visit. Said we've got plenty of videos to watch as far as over the years. So yeah, definitely pop in there anytime. Definitely glad to see you. If you haven't already gone, just out of curiosity, what time is it up there in Canada right now? Where you're at? Well, I've got kind of an idea. Yeah. Well, sometimes early, even if you just do a 30-minute video, it would be great to see you pop in even for just a very short period on a live feed. Almost one, okay. So you're only a couple hours ahead of me. All right, buddy. Well, you have a great weekend as far as what's left of it, and we will catch you on the next live feed. I'll try to get up there a little bit sooner for you. You know, Earl, you're just going to have to put those up a little bit higher the next time, buddy, or you don't have that problem. All right, Sid. Take care. Thanks again for popping in with us. I don't know what kind of cat treats that you're buying for your mama, but you need to quit trying to feed them to her and then blame everybody else. LTR. Oh, okay. Well, hello, Charles. Hell, I thought you done fell off the face of the earth for me. You come down here, you visit, you get a radio worked on, and then you leave me. You don't even talk. I know you've had a lot going on too here lately, buddy. Between work and family life, and the damn driving you did that weekend, into Christmas. Yeah, you'll definitely have to play for that road trip. Definitely, buddy. Definitely. Hey, did you figure out what was going on with that one situation? I'm just curious. You never did get back with me, so I didn't know what you found that was going on. Put that one in there early. Oh, Lord. You set yourself up for so much fun. Are you still on 8 hours, Charles, or you guys went into the mega overtime again? Or they still got you guys locked down on basic work time right now? I know for me, they've got me right back they get me right back doing the same hours that I've always worked, which is ungodly amount of hours. I think it lasted 2 days. We got 8-hour days. That's all I saw. Weeks of, yeah, dude, you're like me. You can do that standing on your head. You can do that standing on your head. The moment I'm gonna do, I know I'm gonna have to take right back down so that I can do some of the other stuff. I don't have to worry about getting this damaged. Take this, put it up inside there. Time being, we'll worry about getting everything pretty here after a while. So your animals aren't too overwhelmed by everything. Really, what I'll do is I'll find you some cat treats and I'll send them up there. Or your cats have something besides mama. I might even mark on there it says mama flavored. Oh Lord. All right. Yes, Charles, I am working on this bit of onion. I was sitting on the floor whenever you came down. As I said earlier, guys, I've got the back already cut out. Already got my exhaust ports. One of the things that you'll probably notice about this that I've done is I've actually got now a special made cutter where it cuts out one side where it's flat. They want these put in there to stay locked. I don't know, how did the direct inject come out for you, buddy? And that was one of the things that you were going to get to eventually, but right. That's awesome. Good deal. I'm really glad you like that receive on it. I think I set one other one up for you too with the hi-fi receive before. Hey, in case you run out, Charles, I got a can here for you, buddy. Yeah, they are nice. I'll give you that. They're definitely nice. When you're an addict to the cat food, cat treats, to the direct inject audio, yeah, I figured you'd be glad on that. What'd you think of the wire rack I had above my head in here in the shop? What you think of that? Oh, it did. Early, we're going to tease you about that for months, but you have months of teasing left for that. I quit smoking, what? I quit smoking actually almost a year ago. Started kind of halfway smoking again right around Christmas time. Then it's been kind of an off and on quit thing, but I've kind of been doing more, kind of been doing some chewing while I'm in the shop. The shop itself, though, has stayed smoke free for the last year. I refuse to smoke in here as well as allowing customers to. So that was one of the things that I had a few complaints from customers in the past. So that has all went away. I like that one early. Let's get that taken care of. Yeah, I apologize that things were kind of a mess, Charles, when you came down. But you know how it gets whenever you work. Now you'd have stayed longer if time would have permitted. But well, have a good night, Warren. Hopefully, we'll see you on the next video, bud. Definitely love to have you, Charles. Like I said, it's just I know that was kind of the spur of the moment when you came down. So early, if you're still watching, I know that we've had this discussion, and again, this is just my opinion as far as on how I do this. Because I have cinched these way too tight before, and I've had issues. You can crisscross these, but you want to do it in a very light format. Basically, I'm just putting it together just enough to kind of hold itself. All I did was just use the cabinet to just basically be my third set of hands. All right, Warren, 73's back at you, buddy. Have a good one. Tomorrow's the work week for most of us, including me, but like I said, I'm kind of a night owl. Keep these loose because I've got to look at that paper. I can't remember if this is one of them. Most generally, these go on the negative side. However, there are some that are positive. And it's been a while since I've used these, as far as this particular brand, because I haven't been able to find it for almost a year. So this last go around, these little LCD meters and shunts, which this one happens to be 1,000. I've got some 500s and I've got 1,000. But these are about $70 a piece. These are not the cheapo ones that you buy from eBay that are, like $25 for the set. These actually cost some pretty good money, but they're also very, very accurate. Unfortunately, whenever I built mine, I don't really care for the amp meter that's in it because it doesn't work real well. But at the time, I got one with a large display that was as big as I could find at the time. It works, kind of. Eventually, if the hole's not too big, or I have to make a special adapter plate, I'll eventually change it over because all I need is just the actual meter. I don't get the shunt itself. All right, so shunt. That side. I'm going to take the way they do this. Okay, so this is a negative shunt. So this is going to go on the negative side. One of the things that I like about these stainless steel bolt, they actually use a copper insert where you get the absolute most you can through these connectors themselves. So I'm pretty impressed with them. They're about 40, I think $45 for the set on Amazon. Sometimes it's actually cheaper to buy through Amazon on some of this stuff than it is to actually go direct from some companies. And the sad part is it's the same company that's selling it. It's just how they've got it listed and where you buy it. It's just like all my stainless steel hardware comes from typically one of two places, one of which is Grainger and the other one, I think they call it Screw World. Again, I can buy those direct from the company, but it's actually cheaper for me to order that as far as all my stainless steel hardware that I use for mounting, using the Walmart.com app. And a lot of it just has to do with shipping, because if I order like $50 or something like that, it's free shipping through them versus the other companies that's going to still charge me $13 for shipping. So just crazy. No, I don't think so, Charles. I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. So, now what I'm looking at there. Fortunately, I cut these way more wire than what I needed. I'd rather have them too long as too short. Everything is systematically the same length, including the AC wires. The only reason why I'm not putting on the back yet is because I've still got to put on the connectors yet here. So you can see how much wire I could potentially cut off. Put her in the house because she was being brat.
You think it's a good look?
When she be my cat,
Good dry shampoo, dude.
I was dry shampoo the cat.
Does it smell good?
I don't know. Should I smell the cat?
Yeah.
As long as you're not going to feed me cat treats. Yes, you smell it.
I'm bad.
Oh yeah. It'd be too if you gave me a bath.
It was either a dry shampoo or a real bath. Even Sylvester got it too. We all got it.
Oh, that's good.
Now we get the treat for it.
Yeah, cat treats. Weren't we just talking about that early? So Charles, you still in there with me, big guy? Yeah, you are, okay. Oh, God. So what do you think, since you got to see the layer? Well, Rachel was given a dry bath. I guess Sylvester, the little black baby that you've seen, he got one, and the other two cats did. thread. I'm not gonna be able to really cut any off of that. Could maybe just an inch. So I'm gonna have enough working room too. Well, actually, we've got two cats that will actually. Well, one of them I know will go in the shower with you for sure. The other one doesn't do real bad, but since the kid's doing it, whichever one works is great with me. As long as somebody else is doing it, doesn't me. We've got one cat that absolutely refuses the bath. The other one I don't know about, and then two of them. One of which I know jumps directly into the shower. The other one, she will tolerate it. She'll get in there as long as it's regular bath water. She'll climb in, and it's not that big of a deal. So, one of them just absolutely goes ballistic. Oh, by the way, early, if you're in there, this is what you give Mama, and then tell her the cat treats. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get the other wire out. That way I don't have to pull the wire from all the way across the other side of the room. Should be enough. These two leads, I want to keep them as relatively short. Yeah. Besides the 600 amp power supply, we've got a 4-foot base too that we're in the middle of building as well, guys. Hey, speaking of which, Charles, there you go. uh, remade. I don't know. As far as I know, I can say I know of at least one amp builder that does not have cats, to my knowledge. I know he has dogs, so he's got all three. Probably a couple of one-off connectors. Those. Sure. I got two different, they're the same connector, but there's two different size holes based on what I'm using. I guess there's three. Oh, they just sent me two of the wrong ones in one package. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of too early. I don't think he's got a cat. Now he has a dog. I don't think he's got cats. Oh, yeah, so I got the size of it. Now, one of the things I really need to do, I need to get some wire strippers that will actually go up to 8 gauge. too well crazy. Should be long enough. Oh. Ah. Yes, cats are definitely crazy sometimes. You know, I've thought about that off and on as far as getting one of those LP, the LP 100 or the LP 500. Just a bit rich for the blood, but I would like to have one. I've got a small fortune. I got a small fortune just in bird meters. Like I still have 6 bird meters, 4 that I use every day, 1 that I use for traveling, and another one that I just got put back. I haven't. I'll eventually use it on when I get everything resituated for myself. I'll use it strictly for my amplifier. But I will also have to order some more slugs, which are getting incredibly expensive, especially for the size or sizes that I'm looking to go up to. I need to actually order a another slug. I actually need to order a 10,000 watt slug. Thanks, Charles. In the corner. You know, and I used to run Dosey for years and years and years, and that was great. And about 10 years ago, because that's when the hype really started happening as far as for locals, you know, saying, oh, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you know, because you don't have a bird meter, blah, blah, blah. Even though everybody around here ran nothing but Dosey. It's like, all right, you guys aren't going to like it, but okay. You know, and eventually I spent the money. Glad that I did over the years. You know, and then they complain, well, why isn't it doing this on my meter? Well, you know, sometimes it'll do more, sometimes it'll do less, depending on, you know, the Dosey meter itself. You know, I've seen times where the bird meter shows more wattage, and there's times where the Dosey will show more. Buddy over in Texas, Carl, he's actually got a I don't know how he went through and did the calibration, which he's got bird meters as well. And again, he's got a lot of people that are local that they use Dosey. So he's got a Dosey meter set up. And I did a comparison. I even took my meter whenever I went down to Texas with him to visit with him and deliver his power supply. It's kind of an unusual thing because I don't normally make that a habit, but you know, kind of like Charles, you know, get to visit with some of the people that I'd really like to. So you know, I took advantage of the situation and went down and visited with him. And he actually has got a dosimeter that he said he recalibrated. And I thought, yeah, all right. I mean, I've heard the song and dance before. And however he does it, it is incredibly close to an actual bird meter. Now, granted, you can't run the extreme power that you can on a bird, but for 500,000 watts, I was quite impressed. He was able to get everything calibrated that close to, where it's got a relative number based off of uh, the bird. So I know it can be done. I've never personally tried it on the doses. You're looking at a meter that's typically as long as it's within 20%, they're letting it out the door. They don't really care whether the RMS and peak and all that good stuff, jizz, it's all the same or not. They really don't care. They're just there to produce a watt meter and send it out the door. Yeah, it goes to 4,000 and it goes poof. It's the ones I've seen around here. That's what they've done. Poof. Oh, you figured it out. Cool. Yeah, I really didn't know what to tell you on that, buddy. I really didn't. Glad to see you popped in for a visit. Of course, you're too hard-headed to give up. I would have gave up like I did 10 minutes into me trying to figure out what you and I were discussing. That's the reason why I sent you a message. I gave up on it. So before I go any further, since I already did it on one, but I already had those all started, I wasn't going to stop. PC9 KUH. I have heard that call before. Let's see. People say they're very familiar. Yeah, that is true, Early. That you are right, sir. Just having a relative output number does make a huge difference. Eagle Eyes. Okay. Like I said, I knew I had heard that call, but I couldn't put two and two together. normally I do this prior to crimping them on. But like I said, I'd already had all those wires held in my hand, and I wasn't about to let go. Aha! Yes. Now it clicks. Speaking of which, you're going to be coming up here very shortly as well. I've got to get yours actually on the bench and get it done too. I have been very, very behind on everything. Of course, this COVID-19. Yeah, that put a damper in a lot of things. Yeah, another thing that I was actually hoping to get to by this fall, and it's going to take me another year now since that COVID-19, that, and since the last time you and I actually sit down face to face and talk, kind of went on a gun craze there for about 6 months. So, yeah, that kind of hurt. That kind of hit part of my plans that I had planned on, which, I planned on getting, at least, my big thing was 18, I was looking at hopefully trying to knock that out in 18 months. And the gun craze kind of, between that and the amount of ammunition that I bought last year really put a damper on it. And then here recently I had to order a new refrigerator. Yeah, actually one of the things I thought about, and I don't know, I've got about 15,000 miles that I put on that, and I've still got a reasonable chunk that I have put down on that, because of some of the financing that they've got now. I actually thought, about half tempted to come in and talk to you in relationship to that. Granted, I know it's only a year old, but trading that in for yet another new one, I don't know if there'd be any benefit because of the interest. The other side of it too is I don't want to be upside down on payments. Because I'm still focused on, I want to get a new truck as well. So that's something that I'm not sure how that how that all would work out. Because if I can actually come out where I don't pay any extra or pay less. Like I said, I actually considered trading that back in for another new one because, like I said, I know right now they've got a lot of good rebates going on. And I know you work day shift, so what in the devil are you doing up at this time of the hour? Of course, you do have banker's hours. Yeah. Joe Biden. I would rather vote for your mama in the shape she's in right now as I would for Joe Biden. Yeah. Just make sure it's after 1:30. Yeah. Yeah, that 80K base price. Yeah. What's wrong with a Chevy? At least it's not a Ford. You know what they've said about them Ford guys, right, Charles? Mom would free all the cats. Oh, Lord. Like I said, I would rather vote for your mama in the shape she's in as I would for Biden. Biden don't even know whether he's in the AM or PM. That's even if somebody points out the sun to him. Well, you have a great evening. I know you got to go to work tomorrow, so enjoy your week coming up. We'll talk to you soon. All right. One down, 50 million more connections to go. Oh, come on. Yeah, if I can make some time later this week, one of the other things too that I would like to get done. So I've got to shoot some other videos too that I've got coming up. I've got a couple of reviews that I've got to do on some guns. And I know I only posted the one here. It's been probably a couple of months ago now, but I don't know what you guys thought about that. Granted, I'm not probably the absolute best on that, but it takes time. But I have actually over 30 reviews that I've got to do on some of the different firearms that are out here. So, uh, some of which I got to go pick up, some of which I own. A lot of stuff going on. Of course, I know Charles, he come over and I got to show him a handful of stuff that I've got over here. Of course, the boy got into the safe the other day and he looked at me and said, "Oh my God," he said, "where did you get that?" I said, "Well, I got it at the Getting Place," which is in reference to that one scope you gave me. So, but I've got to get that gun also. Though I was going to get out and we got sidetracked, and guns sidetracked anybody. It's kind of like boobs. Boobs are magical. You forget everything. You become dumb in a bag of hammers. Yeah. Didn't they say that about Hillary? Speaking of which, how come, since she's on trial, how come that's not been publicized all over the news? I know if you dig deep enough, I know you can find bits and pieces in relationship to that. But what's going on there? How come we haven't seen anything with Hillary? And all the corruption that's been there. Oh yeah, like I said, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I've got to get time to get that gun in, but I've got to order a $9 screw to finish doing the mount, and then I got to order. I want to really get with the gunsmith before I actually order it, because I really would like to go ahead and get get the right type of mount for that particular gun, since I'm going to have it drilled and tapped. Granted, I know it's a old World War II rifle, where I've got 3 of them. Like I said, they are incredibly accurate. They get a couple of the things paid off again, and especially this new refrigerator I got that'll be here in 2 weeks. I got it sooner, but they can't give us any bigger window than 4 hours, and they wouldn't even give me when in 4 hours that they would show up. Would it be an AM or the PM? I hear you, Charles. I hear you on that. It's 2024. Yeah, I could see his mom in the White House. That would be a trip. She'd be the crazy old cat lady with about 150 cats running around the damn place. Or Early would. Charles, this would be a whole lot easier if it was a 400 amp power supply. Wouldn't be near as many wires.
Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 wires. 4 wires per connector. Thought for a minute I could have got one more in there. I would, so I'm going to actually have to add one more connector than what I wanted to, which is for my small capacitor bank. This is more. This is nothing more than for for a little bit of filtering. We're not actually trying to pull a heavy load off of it. We're just using this mainly as a secondary filter bank. There's also going to be some other components that are mounted on this. And what this is for is basically for a portion of the RF trap. We'll get into detail on that a little bit further on. Okay. Just one of my questions. I think this one's only rated for 8 or 10, which is more than adequate for what I use it for here in the shop. Yeah, Colt 45, 70 series or 80. I do not have one of those in my collection. I do have a Colt 45, but it's not the actual Colt brand. The one I've actually got is made by Dakota. Mainly because I've just not been willing to spend, $1,800, $2,000 for the actual Colt brand name. Yeah, I've got a couple of upcoming videos as far as on the firearms. I've got the Glock 43X that I will be doing a review on. Let's see, Glock 43X, the Glock 45. That is model 45, not 45 as in 45. Caliber, just the actual version Glock 45, which is a 9mm. The 43X also is a 9mm. Then we're going to go into another one, which is also a 9mm, which is the Smith & Wesson. Those are actually pretty decent guns. I mean, they're a little dated at this stage in the game. They're a little dated, but those are a good gun. My brother used one of those for years and years and years. that's three of them. That's three of them off the top of my head that I know I've got coming up for sure. The Smith and Wesson that I've got to do that one on, that is the M&P 2.0. I believe they call it the subcompact. And I also have 45. I'm trying to remember what that one is. It's actually a popular brand, but it is the. I can remember what it looks like as far as on the logo. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it, but it is actually one of the oldest companies here in the U.S. I think there's a, let's see, it's the XDS, I think it's the XDX or XDS. And that is a 45. So I went to range a little bit because of where, once I've got the guys that are actually supplying me the ammo right now, I've not been willing to shoot up a whole lot of what I own. I hate to hear that, buddy. Yeah, the Benelli would work. Benelli's got a couple of other brands too. I don't usually get into a whole lot of the shotguns anymore. I did back when I was a kid. And speaking of which, I've still got one of the rifles that I bought brand new when I was 13. And it still looks essentially just as good as the day I bought it. Part of that had to do with the fact that when I was a kid, when I would take it hunting, I actually took old wore out socks and I cut the ends off of it and I would stretch it over the forearm, the barrel, and the other one over the buttstock to keep the wood looking nice. But it's an old Winchester 22. What is it? Model 92 or 94, something like that. I haven't pulled it out of the safe in so many years. Also got another one with Keltec. Which I've got one of the Keltec. This is one of the personal ones that I own, which is Keltec Sub 2000. I've actually got one of each. I've got one in 40 cal and one in 9mm. Buddy, I know you and I had to talk about that too, which, both of us are, 40 cal lovers. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of it just has to do with the way, the way the gun is designed for that particular round. It's kind of an in-between. It's kind of the best of both worlds between the 9mm and the 45. Yeah, Browning over and unders, those are very nice guns. Dad had a lot of those growing up as a kid. again, I definitely want to say thank you again to your buddy as well. You know, for you to, you know, take time out of your busy day, because I know you've got plenty to keep you occupied the way it is. That definitely helped me out with my page as well. So I know you're an ad on a couple other guys. You know, that can be a handful just taking care of as many as what you do already. But I have just found myself more and more preoccupied with work, and then trying to stay doing what I'm doing in here. It is a challenge. I was actually hoping on getting started on this about 4 hours sooner. Primarily because I wanted to try to get this thing finished up tonight. We're going to call him Monday, and it's going to be probably 2 weeks before I'm going to be able to be available. I know he'll drive down and pick this up. It's kind of crazy because all the great big ones that I have built for people have all been local. Local, what I mean by local is the fact that they've been within at least a 3-hour drive of me. I think the biggest I've actually shipped out of here to a regular customer has actually been, I think it's been yours, Charles, a 400 amp. You know, I've sold a bunch of 100 amp, 150, 200, 300. God, it's been forever, with the exception of the one I built for you. It's been forever and a day since I built a 400. And then all the big, like I said, all the big power supplies have been, like I said, within a 3-hour drive of me. Which is great because they don't have to pay the shipping. I don't have to try to figure out how to ship the crazy thing. Well, watch what you go shoot. Yeah, like I said, if you'd have had more time, especially, I mean, everything hit perfect whenever you did come down here, Charles, because it happened to have been on my weekend off, which was absolutely wonderful. You know, that was one of the best parts about that. But yeah, I mean, if things would have been a little different, we'd had a little bit more time. Yeah, I mean, we could have went to the range and, you know, got down and dirty and did some shooting. Like I said, I mean, I didn't get to show you everything I wanted to as far as on my small little array of stuff that I've got. You know, which again, you know, I've been through a couple of bad divorces, and I've had to sell off things that I didn't want to. And I think that's part of the reason why I went kind of gun crazy this last year, because every time I turned around, I seen something that I wanted. You know, I had the money in the bank at the time, so. Yeah, if you lived within 3 hours of me, though, Charles, besides you being broke, I'd never have time off. Speaking of which, I was going to ask you earlier, have you played any at all with that 4-pill that we put together? Oh, so it did actually cost you. You sitting there telling me and bragging about, oh, she'll go there and she ain't gonna cost that. She ain't gonna spend no money. She won't spend no money. So that's the reason why she came home early. Is she was broke. She'd already run out of money. You should have given her that gold or platinum card you had stuck back. See, that's what you should have done. Probably a damn good thing I didn't have more stuff built up. You'd have probably loaded up, took it all home. Well, that happens, Charles. Definitely happens. I'm hoping I can get to it by the end of this month. I've got a 48 bill to come in for repair too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't get to spend much time with your family. You know, I mean, primarily a kind of a guy's day, but at the same time, the girls was able to go out and enjoy. Hopefully they had fun as far as where I sent them, anyways. I didn't want them to sit around here and be completely and utterly bored. And you know, just because you and I don't find it boring doesn't mean that the girls will. Of course, there are some women that really get into it as well. Yeah, especially whenever I took you into the house. I could already tell you were itching to go to the range or what have you. Yeah, if I'd have taken you into the other room, you'd been asking me, well, how come we ain't went out? How come we don't go out shooting? If I'd have taken you to the munitions depot that I've got. I almost bought another 500 rounds the other day for that 7.62 I've got. No, Kevin, he's my friend. You can't have him. Yeah, but we wouldn't have got done what you needed done while you were here. We'd have went to the range. Yeah, we've actually got a really nice indoor range. The only thing I don't like about the indoor range that we have is the fact that the longest shot that you can make, which is great for, it's great for, handguns or something small, but it's only a 25-yard shot. Now, if things would have hit a little differently, which they had everything shut down and what have you over here, so they've got that fixed now, which is the we went out to the bottoms. I could have took you down there and showed you as far as some of the areas that we have. But again, there's really no place unless we go up to the Army base, up there close to, close to where your wife was. And I'm not sure how they're doing things because of this COVID stuff. Now they've got a 100-yard range up at the military base that anybody can go on to and use. Obviously you got to do whatever the range master wants. But that's actually a pretty nice range that they've got up there. But again, with all this COVID crap that's been going on, it's made it a lot more difficult. Man, I guess we'll get that one in there.
Yeah, we can always hope, Charles. Like I said, I know it was kind of a spur of the moment trip, so we'll get things a little more planned out the next go around. Good deal. Like that size. You guys can hopefully see a little bit more. Oh, man. I'm just getting some connectors and stuff, guys. Bear with me here. Keep up just enough of this because I'm tired of stepping on all these pieces that are all over the daggone floor from stripping wires. Trying to get shoes on, but I can only step on so much. Yeah, I wished I had a place to work as big as what Early's got. Oh, that would be absolutely wonderful. Okay. Now we need one more. Go. Okay. I like that. Guess three made fell asleep. I'm here. He's eating cat treats and popcorn. Yeah, cat treats and popcorn. He's eating the cat treats thinking he's eating popcorn. Yeah, his mind is the longest thing about him. Ham and cheese roll-ups. Are they made from cat? That's not even nice, Kevin.
There you go, Charles. That's what you need, buddy. You know, whenever I finally call it a night, I'm going to go in there and find me some real food. Of course, I know you wasn't complaining about the meal I took you out for, but you probably didn't even think the little bitty hillbilly town like what I live in would have anything that even remotely like that close. Well, early, you got to lay off on a lot of different foods. Get that blood sugar down. It's just like in 10 months, man, I haven't had one of my favorite meals, which you and I both like, you know, which is oyster stew. Yeah, I guarantee you, Charles walks a lot to and from the boat, to and from the woods, to and from his truck. Actually, I think what I'm going to do before I get too wild and crazy here. Yes, guys, I'm just too ornery. I don't want to have to grab another tool to put up. Yeah, that would make me sick too early. But that's just like I had a guy that lived over here by me that had a beautiful 72 Chevy pickup. And I tried a couple of years in a row to buy it off of him, and I just couldn't get him to turn loose of that to save his own life. And they didn't, he drove it, but just let it go to hell. Like it was a $500 truck. He drove it like it was a $500 truck. He liked the attention that, so many people wanted it. Hold it in place while I do all the other stuff. Not looking to do a real good cramp right at the moment. I just want to mainly hold that in place. Small ones. Find the right size dies for that. I think it's this one. Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with some good roast beef. I'll tell you what, I'll buy you some soft cat treats, Charles, if you want to try them. I just gotta see a video. Hey, maybe that's what I can do for the next giveaway. Preamp to, next person that I actually see a video of eating cat treats. Just kidding. Oh, you never did tell me. Have you played with that 4 pill yet? Since you've been home? There's one in every crowd, Kevin. One in every crowd. I'm not sure if that was Mississippi coming in. That's one of my locals. He's got his antenna turned away from me, though. Okay. Now, earlier, I don't know if you remember when I was talking to you guys about this right here, between this and the filter back here. What it amounts to is this little capacitor here. I'm also going to add a secondary that's going to be on the opposite end. It's as close as we can actually get, especially considering the fact that we're probably no more than 10 inches from the actual connections on the back. But what it amounts to is, believe it or not, just putting something that simple in line is relatively close to the, yes, it is a 103, by the way. And then on the other end, we're actually going to use a 0.1. But what it amounts to is that actually works as what's called an RF track. And essentially it takes the bite, if you will, from the RF leaking back into the system. Now, granted, I've got RF beads on all these modules throughout the build. And then at the end here, on the positive side, we're actually going to put ferrite that's going to be physically slid over top of all these wires. There's going to be ferrite that's going to go over top of that. We also want to put a small little disc cap as close to our primary hookups. Each one of these modules actually has one built in. A lot of people don't realize that, so they actually add them across the boards on the front. And although there's nothing wrong with it, it's not needed because there's actually one physically built in right at the beginning, along with their capacitors there. So essentially, what it is, it's a double, it's a double whammy for RF. So you're less likely to get anything in between all these modules, that could actually cause an issue later down the road. So it's always a good idea or a good practice to make sure you put. You can use either a 0.0, either a 0.01 or a 0.1 disc capacitor on the on your rails and everything, and it definitely helps out by all stretches of the imagination. So, all righty. I can go ahead and start that, but I'm going to go ahead and put the other ends on as well. Now, there's not going to be one right here. I'd love to put one there. The reason why on a small power supply it's no problem, since we have such an extreme difference from point to point, and the only reason why I say that is because of the shunt. There's not really a good way to actually physically get one on both sides as far as across the terminal. Otherwise, I'd also put a secondary right physically at the back of the terminals. On the small power supplies, it's no big deal because you've got small amounts of wire and the connections are close enough. So definitely helps. Yeah. The 104s I have had on rare occasions. I have had those do that. Now the .1s that I've got, like what's right here, as far as the .01s, I bought 100 of those because I wanted to see for sure what geometric size that it was going to be. I seen where it talked about the spacing on it. These are actually only rated for about 2 kV, but these are actually made here. I believe these are actually made from a company that's actually here in the U.S. And they're not real expensive now to buy the same version. However, in the .1s, these only run about 20 cents a piece. However, if I buy the .1 in the same exact series, they're $1 a piece. There's that huge of a difference. But like I said, I believe, if I remember right, these are only rated for like 1 kV. Okay, so they're rated for 1 kV. But they are way thicker. For example, like the Chinese, cheap Chinese, which I'll use those a lot of times as far as on the boards. Yeah. Here. And I'll use these a lot of times as far as on the circuit board, on the DC for the blocks. I think these are rated for 1,000 volts as well. These little bitty blue ones, but they're not built with the same specification. This is also 3 times thicker. And now these work, and they're adequate. These are adequate for what we're using for, which is a DC block on the or an RF block rather, off of your power rail on the amplifiers. So that's the reason why a lot of guys use these, just because of the economics of it. 104s, whichever what those are. Those I'm just about out of them, so I've just been using those on the 2 pills to finish those up. I made a special buy back in May where I bought a couple of thousand of these. It's an old lot. They're new, but it's an old lot, which these are .1, .1 UF. But I know that they'll handle a lot more voltage. I'm trying to get some of that glare off of it. See the numbers. Believe it or not, these are only rated for 25 volts. But I know I've hit them with, I've had them in circuits already that take up to 1,000 volts. So it is quite well. But unfortunately, I'll never be able to get these again. Would love to. The similar ones now, as far as physical size and everything, that are rated for 1 kV, they're the same as this, only 1 kV. But I use a lot of these as well for different applications. Just because they're rated for 25, that's it also depends, because sometimes they'll mark these as like 25 volts AC, the DC will be an ungodly number, or vice versa. I'd have to go back and look as far as on some of that. Let's see, I think we got 100 of them maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, I think you got about 500 of them off of me early, because I think what we did a couple of years ago is we bought, I think I bought 1,000 of them, or maybe I think I bought 500 of them, and we split and did 250. Okay, 1,000. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was 500 or 1,000, but I know it was a substantial amount. This is all I've got of those that's left. That's all I've got. And once those are gone, I'm not going to worry about those because I've got a drawer. I've got a drawer right now that are, like I said, they're a lot better quality. Really, over here. Shop. So, I've got a small surplus of those left. This was another buyout from the same company that was going out of business. These are unknown. And the reason why I say that is because they couldn't tell me what they were. I've done an acceptance test, and they have a lot higher rating than a Type 43. Since I don't know for sure what the true makeup is, part of why I went ahead and bought these for, as far as price wise, I use these on anything to do with AC. Since they've got such a high, since they've got a high permeability, I can use it for that. This was another buyout, and I've still got more with money in here. Matter of fact, you got it on hardback. So you I got one. All these yet. These are what I've been using on some tuning tubes. I've been mounting tuning tubes because they're a lot longer. I can bend them anywhere in the middle, like my tab on, and I've got a lot of surface area that I can actually put my capacitor to instead of the old way, which is using a small tab. These aren't like CA, but I'd still rather use these tuning tubes. That's all that I've got in. That's all I've got in here is nothing but anchor parts. And this toolbox, all anchor parts, from top to bottom, except for two drawers, one of which I do have one drawer allocated for miscellaneous tools, and one drawer up here that I've got pins and stuff. And it's still, radio and amp related, but I've just got pins and miscellaneous stuff there. Another bracket, which I only used a couple of them that I've made. Speaking of which, I'm on tangent, but two different sizes made. Standoffs. Standoffs are actually made. Yeah, I can also drill and tap the bottom of them. They're actually made for me to sit there and sit the plastic on. Just pop them into place, push down, they're exactly perfect. What it is pop it down into place, solder it, and I've got a nice little foot as far as people set it up an angle. I want to set it up. Put two of them on there. I can actually set them up on the board. So I'll get two different sizes of those. And right now, I'm sure you've seen early, these are unobtainium. I don't have a whole lot of smart left. I'd love to be able to buy 25 or 30 more of them, but I'm going to put some repairs. Toolbox. Thank you. That's actually a Harbor Freight special, believe it or not. The audio shouldn't have went out. I mean, I know some of it I've spoke there's a lot of the YouTube.
I got a lot, but I've got, at the same time, a door that's over half full of nothing but circuit breakers. Maybe you just need to clean out your ears. Connectors for power supplies, and a couple of boards. Spare boards, relays, various different types. Oh, dude, you ain't even see all of that. I'm actually low on a lot of different transformers and stuff. But this is all Type 61. I've got 43s. They're over there in the wall. They're actually in those bins. It's 43. It's over there. That was just all 60. Oh, and if for some reason you need one or two, let me know. I've got plenty of pull screws. I bought 10,000 of them. I split 10,000 of them with Carl out in Texas. So I now still got 4,000 and something left in the bag. And some of my pull strips and power strips are back there. This isn't all the solder. This is miscellaneous rolls that I had sitting out here. I've got I think that's 40 amp. I've got the 80 amp relay. It's back here. A couple power cords. Charles out of the familiar too. Still radio related, but good bit here. That's actually my spare MFJ. And those are like one shot batteries, little neat, or whatever it is. Transistors and stuff. This was kind of a hodgepodge of it. It was this back in May. This whole drawer was almost completely full of nothing but gas. 2,600 SE, 26,000 ended up on the microphones. Just to give you kind of an idea. You also have to remember, early, I have been buying parts little at a time, little at a time, little at a time, off and on for almost 27 years too. Well, I would like to be a lot more organized, but that would take me shutting the shop down for almost 2 months just to get everything organized the exact way that I would like to. I'll get to it eventually, but it's going to be a minute before I get to that stage. But eventually, I do want to get to that where I can go ahead and become a lot more organized. Actually, pin's teeth. Do I have hen's teeth, Charles? Oh, God. Try to help me. Unfortunately, this has become a catch-all. Oh, God. Those 120s that I don't use anymore. If we go into the house, I've got one room that's actually larger than my shop. Anyways, most of what's up here in this top floor, um, buried under all this hodgepodge that's sitting on top of it, is actually cypridic blankets. 70% of what's up in here is cypridic blankets. That's where I've got what I call my overstock. Um, these early, if you do need some 120s, I know they're supposed to be ready for like 3 kV. I see, right on TV. Anyways, if you need some, let me know. Um, I will still continue to use these for small 2 pills, but anything larger, I'm just not going to use it. And the reason why is I bought stuff. Anyways, those great big ones that ICA sells. Yeah, I've got a couple hundred of those now. I got all sizes. But, yeah, the 120s, I mean, the small ones like that, they're adequate, but it bothers me using those on really anything bigger than maybe a 2 pill or a 4 pill. And I don't even like using them on a 4 pill, to be brutally honest with you. Because I've seen them change too much. So I'll use them on a 2 pill to be able to keep the cost down. But otherwise, I'm going to stay with the larger ones. I don't know if you watched my earlier video tonight. Let's see. I got to get you a wife for 10 years so I can so you can catch up. Are you insinuating I've been alone too long over here early? Here I am. I talk to a computer, talk to my cat, talk to Charles. Oh. Yeah, someday, buddy, I think I have been alone way too long. I heard that once before, Cornbread. I think Outlaw Valley Cat told me that. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, if you've got a good woman, which is incredibly hard to find these days, I know because I have looked,
can actually accomplish more in the long run. Let us try and find a good woman. All she's got to do is look on, look on this page, or go back and watch it. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to rent one, especially by the hour. I'll leave that up to you, Kevin. Of course, I've had some of the richest men that I've ever known tell me the same thing. It's cheaper to rent them. I don't know if any of you've ever heard that or not, but I have heard that a few times. Like I said, and some of them have been some of the wealthiest men I've ever known. It's actually kind of scary. Oh my God. I'm a good man. Oh my God, Charles. I don't know how to respond to either one of you guys on that one. I think I'll just leave that one right where it's sitting. Oh my God. Oh my God. We're all going to hell. Oh, you are on a roll tonight, Charles. As each passing moment that Hurley puts his foot in his mouth. Yeah, I know. It's not the proper way of using an ashtray. Sure it is. Quit smoking. You need a black male toothpick. Okay.
Early, you've been sticking your foot in your mouth all night. I'll let you feel that one. Well, thank you, Early. Of course, it is like, going on 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome that we got 6 people watching at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Piece of the puzzle down. Put the heat shrink on that here in a minute. We gotta get 2 more connectors. Okay, so you gotta get up at 6. Okay. So what's your point? It's no big deal. If you're like me, I'll be going to bed. I'll be going to bed about that time in the morning. Just a second, I'll grab this. Time. This off to the side. It's definitely not been boring tonight. I'll give you that, guys. Of course, I love having the commentary from you folks too. It really helps as far as speeding my day along. I feel like I've got a lot more accomplished whenever I've got you guys in here talking. Go.
I've intentionally left that loose, and the reason why is because I've still got to go back. Again, it's just another type of RF track as far as just putting one on the opposite side from where we're at. So we've got this here. We're going to have one here with a regular connector. The reason why I'm not going to tighten these up just yet is I'm still going to go ahead and punch out. The only thing I've got left is to punch out holes in the top for the fans. Go ahead and circulate the air through the actual power supply. So still going to do that, but because of that, I also want to go ahead and run my wires directly off of my my capacitors right here as well. So. You'll be back there in about 2 weeks early. About 2 more weeks. I wish they still had that other manager that was up at Harbor Freight, because I was actually talking to him back before he left, and he had a better job opportunity, so can't fault the man for that. But I was going to put the speed shrink on real quick. But I'll see about trying to get a little bit of subsidy for him for using some of the products here on the show. Unfortunately, now that he's not there, I am not real sure who to speak with. They have not replaced him yet. It's been, 3 months. It's like I was trying to get a hold of my friend here a while back, especially with some of the stuff that I've been doing. I was trying to get a hold of him from Lucas Oil. He has been so busy, and then everything that's been going on with the COVID-19. I'm going to try to get with him in relation to some of the videos and everything that I've been doing. I was going to try to get with him about getting some gun oil from him. I always like free swag, but I know that would, what I'm needing for that is not a huge deal. They haven't had any other projects at the moment. Love to do another one. For Lucas Oil. I'd like to build a power supply like that for myself, but Jimmy, Christmas. Ooh. Cost of it here in the shop. Those 100 amp Meanwhile power supplies, they are some Mama Jammas. Man. No, I'd love to have one. Get a few more things caught up and paid off, and I may just break down and start buying, a module a month. It'd only take me a year if I did that. Let's see here. All right, so we hope you never have to go to Florida again. Cornbread's laughing. Let's see, we can see cornbread. And you say, I hope not. It's a shithole. You're not referring to good old Florida, are you? Here, I'll even show that one for everybody. Since you said a bad word. Oh no, you said a bad word. Don't worry, guys, I'm just as nuts as you are. What's that, Early? You said you were going to move down to Florida here by Christmas? Is that what I understood you to say? Smells like poo-poo there. And the paper mill is bad. Okay. Yeah, actually, I've already crimped and soldered. I've already crimped them and soldered them. Same thing here. These have been crimped. They still have to be soldered. I'm going to actually wait to solder these till tomorrow, because I'm gonna be shutting down here fairly soon. Mainly because of the fact that I'm getting hungry. And my locals have just now started talking. Jeez, Pete. Yeah. It's the only part that's done here. Like I said, these are all crimped. Holes are drilled. Still got to solder them and then heat shrink them up, and then that'll all be done there. All right, so before I close up back, mainly because I know there's little anemones yet that I've got to take care of there. Negative for that. This is I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just call it a night where I'm at right here. still quite a bit that I've got you taken care of. Um, we'll get this finished up here, hopefully in the next week. Because like I said, I'm getting ready to go into a long stretch here this week, so it's going to be incredibly busy. Plus, it's the end of the month, which also means that it's almost the first of the month, which means I pay bills. So I'll be busy doing that as well. But guys, I appreciate you popping in and staying with us as long as what you have. Let's see if you need there. I'll move there. Well, I've actually got some friends that live down there, so yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one. 73's back at you. Take care and God bless. Have a great evening.